And we are back. Welcome to match day 6 of the Women's Euros. The setup is back, the voice is almost back, and we look ahead to England's second game of the tournament after a ridiculously dramatic night in the Women's Euros. I've tried to sort of gap fill this sort of time by talking about the other sports, but honestly, last night was an incredible pair of games. The first one, we had 3 penalties. One awarded by VAR, one just given normally, and then one disallowed by VAR due to an offside. One of those penalties was saved. Absolutely chaotic game, ending in a 1-1 draw between Belgium and Iceland. Iceland are going to feel ridiculously hard done by, not by the referees, just by their own performance. They had more than double the chances that Belgium did. The Belgian goalkeeper made loads and loads of saves, and in the end finished 1-1. And if it wasn't for that offside call, Belgium would have had their second penalty, which if they would have converted would have been a massive snatch and grab win. As for the other game, 5-0 up France were at half time. The first time ever in a Women's Euros that a team has scored 5 in the first half of a game, and at the first hat-trick of the tournament as well for the French striker. Just ridiculous. I did say that France were the team to beat. I never could have foreseen them beating Italy that much. I did expect scorelines like this going into the Women's Euros. It is a common occurrence in women's football that certain countries do demolish other ones, but for France to beat Italy by that margin, I would never have seen coming. So a fantastic win for France, really sets a precedent for them for the rest of the tournament and puts the other teams on alert should they end up facing them in the latter stages of this tournament. All that is left now is to see how that affects the series. So let's look at the actual results and how it did it. So I went for 2-1 to Belgium and 2-0 to France. Obviously, as you have just heard, the results were as followed. So 1-1 and 5-1. I should say, actually, Italy did really well in the second half to firstly get a goal and also keep France out for the rest of the half. So they earned some pride back in that second half. But overall, it is just 1 point for me. I did have a bit of a feeling on Belgium. That obviously didn't prove to be the case, unless they did, of course, get that last-minute penalty, which if they would have converted, not for the VAR. Overall, a tournament score now of 8. So, as always, please let me know down in the comments how you got on. And let's look ahead to match day 6 and the return of the home nations. And we start with Austria and Northern Ireland. And based on what I saw in the 2 opening games, I'm going to go for an Austria win. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Austria. I thought they looked pretty dangerous on the counter-attack against England. It's going to be a different dynamic for them this time. Northern Ireland are probably going to be the more defensive team. But considering how well organised Austria were in that first game, I really don't see Northern Ireland getting a goal. And I think Austria have more than enough quality to score at least 2 goals, in my opinion. It probably could be a couple more, but I still think that's probably the right sort of place to go for that one in 2-1. And then finally, we have England against Norway. Arguably the group decider. I think, again, in the final games, England would beat Northern Ireland and Norway would beat Austria. So this is really the game to decide who will end up winning the group. For me, I think this is a really, really tough game for England. Norway were fantastic against Northern Ireland, and as I said in my previous videos, England, in my opinion, underperformed against Austria. However, I still think that England are the better team, certainly on paper, and I'm not going to give up the belief of England winning just after one poor performance, which they still won. So I'm going to go for 2-1. It's a risky one because Norway definitely could get minimum a draw in this one if they play to their fullest. But I have to believe that England would have learned some lessons from that Austria game. Maybe try to build on the teamwork. I saw the manager saying yesterday how they've worked on their team plays a lot more in training over the last couple of days. So hopefully we will see a much better performance from England. Hopefully it'll be more than a 2-1 win. But certainly based on those first 2 performances from England and Norway, I think 2-1 is probably just about the right result. And that is it. As always, I will put in the description of the video the 2 games for today, allowing you to quickly copy and paste them down and let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen today. All that is left to say is to say like, share and subscribe. Ring the bell to get your prediction in before anyone else, and I will see you tomorrow. Come on, England!